Hello friends. In this lecture we are going to discuss about Maven landscape. Maven landscape means what and all features Maven has to offer us. So let's discuss everything. First is project object model, which is POM. POM is a XML file which describes, configures and customizes a Maven project. Using a POM file, you can create your project using group ID, artifact ID, and the version, which uniquely describes your project. You can configure different dependencies, you can configure different plugins as well as goal, which customizes your project. Maven reads this POM.xml to run or build the project. As we already discussed, Maven pom.xml defines the project, the address of the project artifact using a coordinate system, which is a group ID, artifact ID, and version. Pom.xml specifies the project information, dependencies, plugins, goals, and profiles. So, pom.xml is the whole and soul of a Maven project. Coming to the next feature, we have Maven repositories. Maven repositories is for holding all the artifacts. So there are two kinds of repositories in Maven. One is local repository and another is remote repository. So, how do we refer to a particular artifact? So, you might be remembering we have three things: group ID, artifact ID, and version. Using these three things, Maven refers to a particular artifact either in remote repository or a local repository. When we first time build the project, then whatever remote repository we configure, it tries to fetch the artifacts from there. The remote repository can be Maven central repository or it can be configured according to your company that you can configure in Maven settings.xml, which we'll talk later. Once those artifacts, whichever your project is dependent on, is downloaded from the central repository, then it comes to the local repository. And every time, every next time when the build gets again build gets run, then local repository takes precedence over remote repository, and so it's kind of a local cache, um, you can say, of a remote repository, local repository. So, coming to the next topic, plugins and goals. So, what is plugin? In Maven, plugin is a collection of goals. For example, compiler plugin, and goals is kind of actions in a Maven build. If you know Java, then you might be knowing a class, and class can have different methods. So consider plugin as a class and goals as the method of those class. So method performs something, or it's a behavior of that class. So in Maven, all plugins, all work is being done via plugin or goals. You can call goals independently or via the part of a life cycle phase. Life cycle phase we are going to discuss next. What is life cycle and how it is important in terms of Maven. So life cycle and phases. In Maven, life cycle is a sequence of named phases. Phases are executed sequentially. So in Maven, we have three life cycle. First is clean, default, and site. Suppose you run mvn package. So what happens? all the named phases that has been mentioned in that life cycle phase, all the named phases which are previous to that phase will run before running this phase. So that's what our last statement is saying. Executing a phase executes all previous phases. Like in Maven install, we have around 23 phases, and install is our last phase. So before running install, there are 22 phases or 22 goals that run. So that's what life cycle is. It's a sequence of named phases. So after studying this, we have come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you.